Hello, this is Perry Pencil, and today I'm going to show you how to draw the human body. In this case, we're going to be dealing with a male. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a non-photographic blue pencil, and this pretty much is going to help out with drawing things. It's pretty much like a light box style, so that you could put things down, and when you go over with a pencil, it's like drawing transparent and you won't see the mistakes. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting out with 7.5 heads. So let's go ahead and count them. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. And once you've gotten these 8 heads drawn, you want to take, usually what I do is take a line and draw them across. And again, these are pretty much references for the anatomy of a human body. So when I do these lines, essentially what I'm doing is pretty much using it as a guide. And then of course 7.5, the half that would be where the foot will be. 8 heads is actually for superheroes. That's not the drawing I'm doing today. So we're going to concentrate on a regular human form. What I usually do is number these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so off of that, what I normally do is go ahead and I'm going to use the non-photographic Repro pencil to put in the actual body, the human body. So off of number 1, I usually go ahead and put in the head. And then after you put in the head, you can put in 2, which is 2 and 3 is the torso. So right underneath here, I usually put the neck where the neck will be, and then you can come right out of that and you can put the torso in there. So just to let you know how it works, it's 2 heads in the torso. Okay, so that's how you line that up. Of course, divide the body in half, and then number 4 is going to be where your waist would come in. So this will be his waist, and usually with 4, that's in a half. And you can put a box in for the waist, just like I did here. A box shape that comes in like this and go over and down. Now, from 4 to 7.5 will be where his legs go. So out of the hip joint, you're gonna put the legs in straight down. And then the foot's gonna come out like this at the bottom where the half is. And I usually have 2 simple lines that come out like this, kind of almost like a duck out to the side. And then we move back up to the arms. You can go ahead and put the shoulders in, which is here. Now where number 2 is, that's where the chest is going to go. 2 heads and a torso, and half of that is where the chest line is. And then you can of course put the arms in. The way I measure arms is by the elbow being at the waist, right here. And then the hands are going to come right about, the wrist will be come right where the thigh is, and the hands are going to be about here. All right, now at this point I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dance in between the 2. So I'm gonna go back and actually do this so that you can see it darker. So I'll go over this with my regular number 2 pencil so that you can see it. And the non-photographic Repro is pretty much so that when you go over your lines, you know what you want to be there. So now what I'm gonna do is actually go to where the body is, and we're gonna work on the human body. So let's start with the head. So for the head, let's go ahead and put in a simple head shape, just like I did here, and put the neck in. Notice where I have the non-photographic Repro, where this oval is, that's where the neck usually goes, or that's where it goes, period. And then you come out to where the shoulders are. And because I have that mapped in, you know where everything is that needs to, where the place of the shoulder is and the chest, and everything falls into place here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the neckline in. Then under here, we're gonna put the chest in. So for the sake of anatomy, I'm gonna dance back and forth in between. I'm gonna draw with the non-photographic Repro pencil, and I'm gonna put the detail of the chest in. So this is what helps you be more accurate and like almost like a light box method, because if I make a mistake, the non-photographic won't pick up. We won't be able to see the mistake. So let's go ahead and put his arms in. And you build. When you work on anatomy, you build it at pieces at a time. Off of this, as you see, I'm putting the rib cage in and going down here. And then for the elbow and the arms, we're gonna come around like this. So the shapes that I'm using for this are cylinder shapes, and then goes into the wrist. Now, mind you, this level of drawing is structural, so it's not going to be as simple as just putting down lines. But what I'm teaching you is the forms. So I'll go back over this, of course, with the number 2 pencil, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But the non-photographic is, again, for a light box sake, so I know what I'm doing as I'm showing you how to do it. And so I'm going to put the rib cage in here, and then we can go ahead and deal with the legs. So for the legs, we can come in around like this, and then we can put the shorts in, or trunks. I'm not sure what he's going to be wearing quite yet. Might just have him wear Speedos, almost like a swimmer. Then you can put his thighs in. And notice when I'm roughing this in with the non-photographic, I'm doing this and it's helping me understand how I want it to look. And then you can put the rest of his legs in, just like this. Do the same thing for his left side. And again, I'll go back over and repeat this with the number 2 pencil so you can see clearly how to do the human anatomy in full detail. Of course, with the lead being a little bit darker. All right, so let me go back and with the number 2 pencil, I'm gonna go ahead and put the bicep and tricep in. So if you notice, I'm following everything I just did with the non-photographic. I'm coming over and putting in some minor detail. I'm not going to go crazy, but I do want you to get the fundamental understanding of how to draw the anatomy or the human body. Notice, I'm going to explain this a little bit better here. From this line here underneath the armpit, the bicep is going to come out and around like this, especially if he looks like he works out a little bit. Then have this come around and down. And do the same thing for the left side. Now for the hands, I always usually try and do the fist. So the way I usually do the fist is I put a little line here and draw a circle, because the circle helps you get an understanding of how the thumb actually hinges on the curve of it. Then you could take this index finger and go back in here like so. And then the rest of the fingers are going to come around. And do the same thing for this side. The way I usually do it, just lightly go over here and measure it. And do the same thing. Put a fist in there. And the index finger. Like that. Now, as far as the rest of the body, let's go ahead with the rib cage, come in. And then do this on this side. And the reason that I'm dealing with the simplicity or simple way of doing this human body is because you don't want to complicate things early. This is for beginner level, let's say. I'm not going to put 100 muscles, hundreds of muscles rather, and you not understand what I'm talking about. What I will do is give you the best idea for the basic forms. So if you notice, I've come in right in the center of his thigh here, and you can follow this and come right around where the kneecap would be, and then come up, just like this. And I usually put an indentation here and here, and then indicate the kneecap. Then the inner calf is going to be lower, and the outer calf is going to be somewhat higher. And do the same thing for his left side. And for the feet, I usually just come in on a slant, and his ankle is going to come in a little bit like this, just a little bit. Put the heel in, and then for the toe, I usually have that come in just like this. And then there's, of course, 4 after the big toe. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then 5. The pinky toe recedes, and you barely see that. And then do the same thing for his left foot. And the way you match that up is have a little line that comes over here, and then do the same thing on this side. Put the big toe in here in place. 2, 3, 4, and we don't really see the pinky toe that much. Just like that. Now, we're getting there. So let's go ahead and add some minor features to the head. Put the ears in. And of course, I always put tempo lines in on most of the faces I draw, if not all of them. I'm gonna switch out and go a little bit more detail with my mechanical pencil, a simple Bic number 2 mechanical pencil. And then I'm gonna put what I call a Cyclops look, young Cyclops from the X-Men. Put the hairline in here. And let's go ahead and put his eyes in. Then the nose. And then the mouth. And just line underneath there. One thing you'll notice about light sketching, you don't have to do too much to, insinuate or let it be known what you're trying to draw. Your eye makes up the rest of it. So for those of you who are concerned about the way things look, always rough it out first, and you don't have to go too far with it in order for a person to understand what you're drawing. And definitely wrapping up minor details here. So for the anatomy, you want he has nipple, so you want to put that in. And the way I usually measure that is it kind of goes up and then comes down on the other side here. Now for the abs, as far as abs, I try to be as realistic as possible. So I don't do the individual 6-packs unless I'm doing superhero, not the human, but the superhero character. Then I can do that save that for another time. So with this, I'm just going to simply do 1, 2, and then the rest of it's going to go down into the trunk area like this. And then of course this area is going to come up a little bit, and then you have a little bit of the rib cage on the side that shows, but not too much. I don't want him to look like he's in a gym every day, but I want him to look natural. And as I stated before, I want to give him the swim team look, so we just put some trunks on him. Keep it simple, and then add minor details here and here. And I'm going to shade the hair in very quickly. Okay, so in a nutshell, I just did the 7.5 heads to do the human body. And if you draw along with me up to this point, you just completed this drawing, and hopefully you learn from it. If you have any comments. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by pressing this round button at the bottom. Also, click on one of the 2 top videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you. Perry Pencil.